Hi, I'm Sam, and this is John. Okay, he didn't want to introduce himself. And we're here at the Strasburg Model Railroad Club LEGO display. As Glenn maybe will pan around and show. And we're going to take you on a tour of everything that we did this weekend.
Yeah. So, what you got? What you see
we were
here?
Go over there first.
This works. Anyway, what you see here started about 4 years ago with just one locomotive, one passenger car that was pretty crudely put together, and a loop of track, as well as a little pump car and a flat car. And since then, I'd say we've definitely improved. Sam just recently has started working on some station modules, so would you like to show that off? And Sam, would you like to talk about this a little bit?
Sure. Last November, I had the station built, but the base plates in the surrounding area was not built. It was just the station itself. So this time added some steps, detailing, scenery, got people. Strasbourg used to have these style of number posts on the platform before they put in the lampposts. Also, this is an 80s theme, so before Strasbourg put in the brick pattern that you see today, it was just regular pavement. Also, the trees are still, I believe, in the same spot that they were, just have grown taller. They used to have a phone booth, really no need for that anymore. They used to have telephone poles, that's also gone. And all the minifigures are mine except for the Amish people, which John created.
Yeah, and as you see right here, we have a train that just pulled into the station. During the 1980s, Strasbourg had a slightly different paint scheme. Some people don't really like the bright colors. They say it's not really prototypical for 19th century wooden passenger cars, but we've grown a fondness to them. Probably, I don't know, maybe because we've never seen them with our own eyes. But if we move down a little bit, we'll come down to the East Strasbourg yard.
We also have the water tower, which John
yes.
made.
Tiny little details that we got this time that really helped to tie things together. We've got the Strasbourg engine house. It really should be about twice this length, but I put together something a little ragtag just to represent the engine house. We have some of the old Strasbourg rolling stock represented here with the bobber caboose and the tank car. We also have Strasbourg's first locomotive, number one, which is the Plymouth. So take a look into the engine house. We have Strasburg Road number 90. Taking a little rest. We've got a few details, including a lathe, toolbox, a bench press, and the most important piece of machinery in every back shop, a coffee machine. Moving on to the yard, we have a few of the passenger cars which are not being used right now. We've got the Henry K. Long.
We have 10 of them, so...
Oh, yes, we have 10
We have
of
10
them.
passenger cars, so that's why, obviously, we cannot run 10 passenger car long trains. Yet. But, I mean, in the 80s, I don't think they ran 10 car.
I think they ran it a few times with 90.
They could have. Who knows?
I know they did when they double-headed.
There are no iPhones to easily pull out and record back then, so who knows? They could have done it in secrecy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
moving back to the back part of the yard, we have the paint shop, which Strasbourg built in the late 60s to do some cosmetic restoration on a whole bunch of equipment that was coming in for the Pennsylvania Railroad Museum. And next to that, we have a brand new model, which was built by Sam. Sam, would you like to talk about that a little bit?
it's a gondola. So this is a model that I created actually by myself. I don't think I really had any help from John or Glenn, which I'm proud of that I was able to do that by myself, and it turned out half decent. We've got benches inside, people can't sit on it, but I put in plates that people can stand. We don't have people standing because this was not used as an open air car. In the 80s, it was only used as an open air car until the late 60s or early 70s, somewhere around that time. And the only way people could enter the car, there were no steps, so that they would have to get on a passenger car, walk through, and enter through the platform right there. Got decals on, whatever you see decals on, especially the Strasburg equipment, is most likely made by Cale Leapart. He designed all the decals. I sent them to him earlier this month, actually late last month in June. He made them probably within a week, which is very impressive. Sent them off to Andy at OK Brickworks, and I put them on over the past couple days. What else do you want to show?
The show is closing in approximately 15 minutes. Show attendees, please begin finalizing your purchases and making your way towards the exit. Thank you for coming, and we look forward to seeing you at our next show here in Monroeville on November 6th and 7th.
Thanks, God. Anyway, if you'd like to turn your attention to the other side of the main line, here we have our first passenger car, and well, my first passenger car and my most recent passenger car. And there's about like a 3-year difference between these two. This one, there's a few things that are definitely dated on it. The trucks, for one, the truss rods don't go the entire length beneath the car, and it's a little bit shorter than most of the other cars, and that's because it's a different car. But yeah, and then another major thing is this, I used bricks to build the side of it, while with this most recent one I used plates built sideways to represent some wood paneling. And we've also gotten some updated truck design and truss rods that run the entire length underneath the car. And then Sam, would you like to talk about your Hello Dolly once it comes by?
Yeah. You want to pull it right here and then just stop it, which is unprototypical for Strasbourg operations, but oh well. So I created the Hello Dolly over the past, I don't know how long it's been, honestly, I forget. Year and a half, something like that. Once again, Cal printed out the decals, I applied them. Not much I can say other than it's the Hello Dolly. This is how it looked in the whenever they rebuilt it in 1968 until the early 2000s. It had the low siding on it, and then they found that to be ineffective, especially during the winter. I believe this is information I've read, so I want to make sure. Could be true, may not be. Anyway, snow during the winter would get on the inside, rain, and it was just very hard to maintain. So that's why now it has the closed sidings, but for a while there, it had an open siding.
All right, so moving on down here, you'll notice that we spent a lot of our time on the Strasbourg station area, and we put a little bit of thought into the rest of the layout, just not as much. So right here we have the start to the Red Caboose Motel. For the front bobber caboose, we have the little caboose from the Toy Story train. Excuse me as I bump the table. And then next to that we have what's the class? Is that?
Just a ND bobber caboose.
Pennsylvania class?
One of the Northeastern caboose from the VMR kits.
And then Glenn's.
New York Central caboose designed by Cale Leapart.
There you go.
Yeah.
And here is just a tiny module I made for Cherry Hill. We had this last November, but I wanted to make sure it just had Cherry Hill represented. I feel like that's a big part of the line, especially since they make an announcement at this whenever they go by the station. They say, looking on to your left hand side of the train, you'll notice the Cherry Hill station reads population 17 more or less. And actually, that's a whole lot more when we arrive and a whole lot less when we leave. And as you can see, Cale printed out the decals with that population 17 more or less. Moving on, we have Groff's Grove, another small structure of mine that just adds to the detail of the layout. Also built the benches over there. And
Some guys fainted.
Yeah, some people fell over during the heat.
He needs medical attention.
Okay. So anyway, Groff's Grove, that's about it. Wasn't I don't know how many things they had. I mean, for people to do back in the 1980s. Now I know they have a swing set and everything. I'll have to research that. Also, we have the passing siding, which is great. This is my favorite part of the layout. for this time around because we have room. Last time, Groff's Grove was on a curve in November, and now it is a straight shot like it is. At most it can fit is a 31 and 3-car passenger train, and the siding, whatever direction the trains are going, but at least we can run accurate hour train.
Another thing, Sam was talking about stuff that we have this year that we didn't necessarily have last year. This year, that entire yard section beyond the engine house, that is all new. We didn't have any sort of trackage there besides a little spur to go into the engine house, and I'm very happy about that, so we can have accurate switching operations.
And we also have all the scales that has been made in Strasburg, for Strasburg scales, starting at N scale, HO, O, and then LEGO.
The show is closing in approximately 10 minutes. Show attendees, please finalize your purchases and begin making your way towards the exit. Thank
And then
you for
follow us on
coming.
Facebook. And my phone will probably scan that and try and open it. Okay, you made this.
Yeah, so moving on down here, we have our Carpenter's Crossing, and once again, we have decals that were made by Kale Leupart. But
And applied by me, that's a big part of it, you know.
it's a big part of it. You can see the inconsistency. No, I'm kidding.
No, yeah, you can.
Not really. But anyway, I started this module last year. It looked very different. The topography was a little off. Since November, I definitely updated it. I added a second base plate to it and added this little crossing right here.
And as you can see, the sign says we are still a work in progress. I don't think we'll ever be finished, but that's the way it is with any layout, because it's fun to build and continue expanding, making it better and improvements. This train is by Glenn, who is behind the camera. Thank you, Glenn. That's gonna be the meme of the show, right there. Got it before 10 minutes. Anyway.
12 minutes.
12 minutes. And then we got the Maersk set representing the freight interchange at Lehman Place. Here we have the train coming in. Eventually, one day, if we get the layout expanded even further, would like to do freight interchange operations. We were going to try and do it this show, but yeah, just ran out of room in order to have an accurate looking, semi-accurate looking layout.
We just have other things that take priority over that.
Yeah, especially since we do that once a day at most.
All right, so moving on over here, I will be taking the camera as Glenn talked about his lovely little display.
I brought the fun stuff this weekend.
I'll do my 3 things, and then that way I can just.
All right.
move
Oh, wait,
out
let
the
me do
camera.
mine first.
Have it.
America flag. Okay, go ahead, Sam.
Okay. Cagney, nothing new there. Got the Red Caboose Motel, Reading Northeastern Caboose, now with the correct room number that is on the actual caboose there at the Red Caboose Motel. That is modern day, does not fit in with our 80s theme, so that is why it's sitting over here. Got number 7 finished up. The only thing left to do is some decaling, doing some yellow lining along it. But other than that, it is done. Very happy with the results of it. It's been a work in progress for a couple of years now, just out of my laziness and needing to get decals and that sort of things. So now, Glenn.
Everything else on the table is mine. I've got my number 13 here, Buffalo Creek and Gully 13, built June 2019. Very happy with that model. It's been a tried and true performer at the shows that I have gone to since then. Next door, New York Central Mohawk L2A class number 2743. One of the Brickmania Mohawks. This my actual kit version of this locomotive. Next door, my prototype Mohawk number 2791, excuse me. Differences between the two are mainly come down to the tenders. Next to that, Southern Pacific Consolidation 2781 with the 120-C Vanderbilt style tender. 2722, one further down, another Southern Pacific Consolidation but with a 70-C tender riding behind. Then in the back here, number 26, a freelance 10-wheeler of my own design. Not based off of any one particular locomotive, but taking influence from a number of steam locomotives that I like. Behind that, Virginian Truckee Derrick car number 50, a birthday present from Kale last year. 2 freight cars that I have yet to decal. of a Colorado Midland design, and then a gondola freelanced up from the same flat car. And then finally, a red combine car serving as a caboose. That's it.
All right, that's it. Thank you everyone for watching this video, taking the time to take a look at what we've got here. Unfortunately, this is going to be our last 1980s display for a while. I will be off joining the Navy, and I won't be able to come to shows for at least the first 2 years. So I'm just going to finish one last look around the layout. We're going to watch Sam put some of his stuff away. Say hi, Sam. And I'm just going to stop talking.